Alright, I'm going to start my day off spalling a bunch of really tough chert that I've got in my yard. These are some of the last big pieces that I've got. I'm going to be heat treating all week. So I'm just going to start out my day like this today. This 3.5 pound sledge. Like I said, this is really tough. This might not even be worth it. It looks like solid concrete. I can put this stuff in the corners. We'll see how it works. Some of it might be clear enough for arrowheads, but we'll see. That's not too bad right there. Yeah, I might have to spall these down on a towel or something. Let's see. I need my glasses on because these shards are starting to fly. Let's see. Already got a big old flake in my shoe. All right. I don't normally show this part, but it makes good video content, I suppose. Oh yeah. I suppose. I'll throw that big chunk in there. All right. It's not going to be usable anyway, probably, so. Why would I put stuff in there that I'm not going to even nap? Probably. Because you never know. You never know about this stuff. Yeah, some of it is extremely difficult when not heated. In the raw state, in other words. But you never know. Some of this does gloss up pretty nicely. Oh, that flake looked good, but the rest of it looks like pretty bad stuff. Now that I didn't hit that in the right spot. This looks like Belton chert, which does heat up nicely. Yeah. I'm just gonna spall it down. Let's see. Arrange it a little bit better in there. How am I arranging it? I'm putting the really bad stuff in the corners. Still can't see. I'll put really bad stuff in the corners. That piece right there is from yesterday. I don't know what that is. Some kind of semi-translucent chert. Probably snap in half chert. Yeah, it's very snappity in half in the raw state. That piece right there. Some of this might heat up nicely. Why am I attacking it in such haphazard manner? I'm not after big pieces. I'm not after anything that I can make a big blade from or anything like that. So I don't know how useful this is going to be to some of these. I mean, to some of you guys. I was going to say some of these subscribers, but I'm talking to you guys. Yeah. I don't know how useful these types of videos are when they're not trying to when I'm not trying to maximize the yield for long pieces. I'm just breaking this down into arrowhead size pieces, not blade size pieces. This is terrible. All right. This one, I don't know if the previous owner... See, I got a lot of these as gifts. People that just want to see if it can be worked. So I don't know if this was spalled by the previous owner or by an Indian. Because some of these guys pick up these spalls from areas where they quarried this stuff. This is really, really tough chert. But you've seen in the previous video, it's really rough, but then you heat treat it and it becomes very smooth. The flake scars are very smooth. This is like solid concrete right now. Yeah, this is not flaking at all. Could I just throw this whole thing in there? Yeah, but it probably wouldn't. It wouldn't heat right. It'd be too hard in the middle. The heat wouldn't penetrate very well unless I kept it in there for days and days. I don't like doing that because it raises the electric bill quite a bit. I'm going to have this going all the time now until I can get rid of all my really nasty chert. Yeah, I'll put this big chunk in there, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe I'll take some of that cortex off and leave room for some better material. But yeah, I don't want to leave this heat treat in there too long because it is kind of expensive to run the turkey roaster 24/7. But yeah, I got a bunch of stuff in my landscaping I need to heat treat. I've just been collecting them over the years. All right. Okay. So what is this stuff? Why don't I tell you what this stuff is? Why don't I have the exact names for all this chert? I don't know what they're called. I don't collect the names of it either. I don't find it useful to know the names of this stuff, because once I start naming them and telling people the names, they start asking me, okay, well, what's this called and what is that called, and I don't know this, do you know the names of this and this and that? And they think I know the names of everything, and they start texting me and emailing me, and I say, well, I really don't know. I was kind of just going by what someone else told me the last time. There's not much stuff on the internet that I can just you know, have at my fingertips, so I depend on other people to tell me. I might have been wrong, and it might have been the only piece in the world that is of that type left, so you won't be able to get any more, that sort of thing. So I don't find it productive to know the names of everything. I'll just know if it naps or not. That's it. If it looks like it'll nap, I'll nap it. There's a big bulb of percussion right there from the previous owner. Should I heat that big old chunk? No, I should spool it down a little bit better. A little bit thinner. Yeah, okay. I can put it in there at that size. Yes, yes, I will. It's probably not a good idea, but you know, I should take this down to a smaller biface. Because it'll heat better and get rid of some cortex to leave room for good stuff. You know what I mean? All this extra cortex and all this extra concrete I got in there, sometimes it takes away from the good stuff. Can this be napped raw? You might be noticing, hey, that looks like it might be nappable raw. What are you doing? I don't like napping raw stuff. You don't know? You don't know I don't like napping raw stuff? And the raw stuff I do nap is nature's heat treat, so don't say that you caught me napping and liking raw stuff, because I like nature's heat treat, the Hornstone. That's heat treated in nature, underground. That's why I like it. Anyway, I prefer napping heat treat. Oh yes. I get asked to do raw stuff because everybody gets all puzzled as to how do I nap my local stone. I don't want to heat treat it because it shouldn't be necessary, because I see it looks like the Indians made it out of this raw stuff that's really nasty. So that's what I want. I want to use the nastiest stuff to make the most beautiful points that I see. Yeah, I know. I know that's what you say, but I don't say that. I don't want to use the nastiest stone to make the most beautiful points that I see here in Texas. No. That's not the way I nap. I want to use the best stone to make the stuff that's, yeah, pretty good looking, but not perfect. I like the little wonky blades and the other stuff. It doesn't need to look perfect to me. I don't really make falsums and clovises too much and stuff. Or Cody points. I'm not all hung up on the beautiful Edens and all that. Nope. I'm not into making all those out of the worst possible stone possible. Deep notches on raw stone, I'm not into that either. Although I've done it, you know, you can use raw root beer chert to make deep notches with and that kind of thing. I think I've done it on video, but it's not my favorite, in case you didn't know. See if I can take off a good spall here. A good flake. Yes, it does nap okay in the raw state. And this kind of chert, this Medina County, I think this is Medina County chert, is excellent for woodworking because it provides extremely sharp edges. Like if I were to use this, I can use this as a hatchet, just like that, or a sickle. That edge is strong. It'll hold up. especially when cutting arrow shoots and stuff that's, you know, weak. I can chop down a bunch of arrow shoots with this. Now, chopping down a bow stave or a tree thick enough for a few bow staves, maybe I would want a bigger chunk, but this should work also on that kind of tree. As long as it's green. If it's a dead standing live oak, it might not work that well. There are other ways to get those trees down to the ground. You can build a fire around the base and then burn it down. Burn it down around the base. It'll fall over. Then you can chop up all the little stuff and, you know, carry the big log back and split it back at the campsite. But yeah, these edges are good for woodworking on this stuff. But it's heat treat for you. All these pieces. There's a little crystal pocket. You might be saying, wait, don't spoil the rest of it. Just send this to me. I don't even know what chert is like. I've been napping toilet tanks. Just send me that. Just like it is. You want this big piece of very difficult to nap chert? Because you've never seen chert up close in your life? And you've been napping for 15 years? Yeah. I mean, there's stories like that. They live in a stone desert over in Australia or something. There's no stone at all. You'd be dying for pieces like this. Yep. Yeah, this weighs a lot. To send it international is going to cost some money. Oh yes. All right. Just in case you don't know. I do know that some of you guys are requesting these big chunks. But I got to get it down so it'll fit in a medium flat rate box. In a medium flat rate box, to ship it, the last time I shipped one was like $40 some odd. And I can't fit that much of these in there. I can fit 20 pounds of big old chunks. And you're not guaranteed that it's all solid because it's got Cortex. See, it's got some cracks. It may have a bunch more. So you lose maybe 20% right off the bat. So it's best that I spall this down into a biface and heat treat the biface. It's much lighter too. All right. For shipping. Some of this is good for flint and steel. I'll look through that stuff. I didn't get much interest in the flint and steel the last auction. I know there's interest when a lot of people bid a lot of money on it. There's not much interest, so that means there's a lot of flint knappers out there who already provide tough chert for flint and steel. It's not a rare commodity. It's not a rare commodity to get flakes for flint and steel strikers or kits, flint and steel kits. But I can still offer them. There's still interest in it. If you guys express an interest in it. This stuff is good for flint and steel in a raw state. But it's much nicer heat treated. Much nicer. can work up a sweat doing this stuff, both in terms of actual work and in terms of being nervous that I'm going to snap this thing in half. Actually, I can, this size I don't mind shipping out. I mean, I can ship out low quality stuff, yes, if you really want it, but I don't like doing it because, you know, it might come back to bite me later that I ship someone some nasty stuff. Yeah. Even though that's what he wanted. Someone will hear that I sent some nasty stuff out to somebody, and you won't hear the part where that's what he wanted. And then they won't want to buy stuff from me. Yeah. See, there was a crack in there, so I had to take that part off. But I think I got... No, I didn't reach the bottom of that crack yet. So I got to take that out of there. Is that part of the natural stone? That I can't tell you. I don't know. Sometimes those are part of the natural stone. I say natural stone, I should say unmodified. I don't know if I installed that crack or not. If I did, that means I got to work on my spalling technique. I can't be having those big old cracks. I can't be installing those big old cracks. You might say the hammer did it. Well, it didn't do it in the other areas. What's up? It just seems to do it in that area. Alright, let's see what we can do. Let's see how many strikes it takes to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. Get rid of that crack. It's going to take more than a few. See, and if I had sent that big old piece, you had that big old crack there, you wouldn't know what to do. You might say, nah, just let us worry about that. Okay? Don't worry, don't worry. Just send it. Yeah, but then I wouldn't get these little arrowhead spalls. Flakes. If I just send it. I wouldn't be able to be greedy. Greedy with the flakes. Yeah. Are we getting to the bottom? Are we getting to the center of the Tootsie Pop? No? When am I going to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? Is it in sight? Do I see it? I still don't see it. I'm almost, maybe almost there. Maybe. I gotta go slow. I gotta go slow and make sure I get it, or you won't watch any more videos. Let's see if I can get to the center of this Tootsie Pop. I'm really banging that up right there. Did it get it? Ooh, I think it got it. Right? Most of it is just on the edge here. hit directly on it. And I think it's gone. Now, what do I got? Do I have anything interesting left? There's still a little bit of it left, but that's for the next person to remove. Yeah. Little defects, I'll leave it in. Easy peasy to take them out. Alright. Those people have trouble with. They have trouble with those little spalls. Like that. So I do you a solid. Take the I'm going to take those out. You might say, no, you're not doing me a solid. You're keeping the stuff by being greedy. You're keeping the flakes. You're not doing me a solid. You're pretending you are, but you're just keeping the flakes for yourself. Yeah. Well, I'm probably gonna sell most of these flakes as heat treat. Ah, that hurt. Dang it. Too much inward force. I got too cocky with that one. Dang it. Okay. I have to force it. Force the inward force. I do have to hit inward to get those flakes to travel. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we can do. Yeah, I can get flakes to travel if I hit extremely hard. I'm gonna have to hit that extremely hard to get that to travel. Because that's the only way I can get that is from the side somewhere. Are you seeing what I'm doing? I'm not even looking in the viewfinder. Let me take some off the tip before I strike really, really hard to get rid of that step fracture. I need to get rid of some of that mess right there. That would be an interesting shot. It went kind of far. It did reduce it a little bit. That helps. What am I doing here? I'm looking to see if I can maybe attack this from the sides by reducing this edge. I might be able to come in this way or that way instead of having to run a big long flake that can risk overshot or total breakage. The shorter the flakes, the better, because you risk total breakage with the daring shots. It's risky. Some of you guys, you automatically plan the most daring shots as what you want to do, but if you're a newbie, you won't be able to get those, I guarantee. And if you do, it's luck, and you don't learn anything from it because it's just luck. I'm going to leave that option open for me right now, but if I can get it somewhere else, if I can remove that step fracture from another direction that's closer, it'd be less risky because I don't need to hit as hard. But I don't know. There's not really a good opportunity. Now, could I heat treat it and have a better chance of removing that step fracture? Maybe. You never know with the heat treat either. It might require more than 450 degrees to be able to knap that easily. So yeah, I got plenty of stuff sitting in the roaster. I got it half full now, just with this one big piece. It's really, really lumpy now. I should be smoothing that out. Let's see. It's important that I get a good slide. Because if it just pulls, it'll actually pull it so bad it'll make it step. It'll break it. The billet will break the flake if it pulls too much. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Now these are going to be inconsistent areas even after heat treat. This is going to be different from that. It's going to be different from that. These different bands of stone, they're going to be different in the heat treat as well as right now. They're different consistencies right now too. So you can knap this area down here and think you're doing good, and then you come up here to use the same technique and it's not going to work. Okay. Yeah. And what happens is the technique I used to run flakes, I had to run them really hard in this area, but then if it starts creeping into the better area, it goes where I don't want it to go because it travels, because it's better quality. It doesn't travel as well up here, so I hit it really, really hard, and then it had a little bit of a stray path. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like installing those. You might say, well, just thin it down and they go away. What's the problem? Just thin it down and it goes away. Yeah. If you're lucky. Goodness gracious. Yeah, but that edge was ground down, so don't tell me, ooh, you hit a sharp edge. No, that was ground down pretty good. You know, these little steps like that, highly annoying. Let's see if it did it. Well, it gave me a good flake. Nice little pattern on it. It did reduce it somewhat. I still have the option of hitting in that area and removing a good portion. I got to remove that crystal pocket anyway. Let's see. It's got to slide because I don't want the billet to break that flake before it has a chance to travel. If it pulls too much, the billet can break the flake. It's gotta be able to slide. All right. I don't know if I'll reach, but we'll see. Hardest hit of the whole process. Did it do it? That was the hardest hit of the whole process, except with the sledge. That was an extremely hard hit to get it to travel. It produced a nice little flake for me, but it didn't reach. But with heat now, I don't dare hit it again. So with heat now, I can probably tackle that after it's heat treated. I can tackle that from an angle somewhere close by. I might even be able to knock it back with hits to the face of that step fracture. But in a raw state, I'm going to have to hit it really hard, and that could produce a diving flake. It can produce a diving flake with heat treat as well. But heat treat allows me to run these ridges a little bit easier. I can take back this side and run these ridges here right on top of that step fracture, reduce it down, and maybe leave a little chunk taken out in the finished item. And it won't be perfect, but that's good enough to heat treat. All right, so that was an interesting piece because it had nice swirls and nice bands in it. This one, I don't know. Some of you might be saying, before you start, make sure you preserve the whole length. It's like solid concrete. Yeah, this stuff is not fun. It might be okay for smaller arrowheads. I don't know. Yeah, just trying to remove that turtle back to try to preserve that big long piece. I probably should have just spalled little ones off. That might heat treat. Maybe. Looks like Fort Hood stuff. Very bad. Yeah, good for woodworking though. Use it as a chopper. I don't know. I don't like some of these. I mean, in theory, they'd be good. These are good. But in theory, you know, like this one here, I can heat treat that. I can heat treat these. But they're so steppy. I don't know how far those step fractures go in there, and there's some cracks and stuff. So I just toss those. Toss them out. This will heat treat. Yeah, it won't be that great, but it'll heat treat. Why do I say not that great? Because it looks like it has cracks already in it. The heat treat can produce more cracks. If it's already got cracks, you just double your chances for cracks. Let's see, is that translucent stuff? Yeah, it might be worth it. I'm just gonna heat everything. As long as it is a usable size piece, I'll throw it in there. Now you might be saying, wouldn't it be better if I actually knew what temperatures each one of these heat treated at, so I can get the optimal performance from my turkey roaster? Because if you just heat it at 450 with everything, some of it might be ruined that it could have been good. Yep, you're right. But I don't have time for that. Not me personally. If you want to do it that way, I do recommend you to learn each one if you can. Learn how each stone heat treats in your stash and do it in a better, more organized way. If you've got time. That would be ideal. I never seem to have enough time for anything. So, I try to be expedient. And if it doesn't always work out, oh well. Yeah, it seems like it already has cracks in it. But I might get a solid piece out of it. Maybe. I don't know. Will it be easier once it's heat treated? Sometimes yes, but sometimes no. That's the answer. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You might say, well, you can run longer flakes when it's heat treated and get rid of some of those cracks. Maybe. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes even heat treating it, you can't run the long flakes because it'll just snap completely in half. It becomes too brittle to run the long flakes the way you want to. Yeah, I don't like this one. I don't like it. I got a bad feeling about that one. This one might heat up nice. Yeah, that'll heat up nice. But yeah, if I don't get greedy with the length or the size of the spalls, I can get some that'll heat up nice for little arrowheads. Come on. I know you can do it. Come on. This quality is not that bad. This reminds me of something that, I mean, they call it Fort Hood shirt. It's not quite as tough though. So it's more like a Belton shirt. It's a mid-grade. I put on a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah. In the raw state. Now this could heat treat nicely. It could. But I've got to make sure it's not too thick when I put it in the roaster. Because it could heat treat nicely in some areas but not in others. You know, in the middle it might not heat treat well, and then I wasted my time because it'll break trying to get the flakes to travel. I'm going to say, why aren't the flakes traveling? And I'm going to hit it really, really hard, and it's just because there's a hard spot in the middle that the heat didn't get to. So I got to make sure it's thin enough that it'll heat well. And sometimes it's very dicey to get it thin enough. These are interesting flakes. I'll heat it just in case. Just in case I might need to, or I might want to use it. A little thin flake like that. Alright. Is it thin enough yet? Almost. I gotta get it right on the verge of breaking it. Okay, that's thin enough. You might be saying, gentle, gentle. Don't be pounding on it with your mallet to get it to go into the corners. Gentle. Yeah. I'm not doing it right. I know. If you can't stand up to that, I don't want it. I don't want it. Except if it's obsidian, then you know I don't have to heat treat it anyway. I'll treat obsidian with kid gloves, but not this stuff. Yeah, treating with kid gloves. I learned that from Twitter. I use that in the political discussions, that terminology. What is it? Look it up. Yeah. This will probably heat treat, so stick it in there. Ooh, I don't know if I like it though. I don't know. Where is it? Is this good? Yeah, it's alright. Is this good? Yeah, it's alright. Now with this particular batch, now that you're seeing me do it all, memorize the locations of all this, because I'm going to bring it out and I'm actually going to nap these on video after they've been heated. I tried to do that once before with a different video and it didn't work out because the orientation was off. I was filming it in a vertical, even though it's the horizontal position on the camera. On the phone. The phone is mounted to my tripod horizontally, but I somehow was able to film it in the vertical. And I tried to straighten it out and the sound doesn't match. Isn't that funny? You switch it from horizontal or from vertical to horizontal and the sound doesn't match. Stupid. Anyway. Do I want to keep this? I don't know if I want to keep these. I don't like it. Can I spall this down? But it has a lot of crystal pockets in it. So even if I spall it down, it may just be terrible. It's got lots of crystal pockets in it. Even if I get thin flakes from it like this, you know, thin, not like that. Even if I were to get thin flakes from it, it has these crystal pockets everywhere. I'll throw it in there just in case. Just in case. It's beautiful stuff. I won't throw out this debitage yet that's down there. I keep all this stuff in a bucket, right? I just throw it in a bucket and then I'll heat treat, and then if some of that stuff is like, ooh, super duper fantastic califragilistic, then yeah, I'll break it out and I'll chip some more off of these and heat treat more of this stuff. You never know, sometimes this stuff is excellent after heating. Yeah. Yeah. That looks promising. Not good, but promising. Promising because it doesn't have a lot of cracks. Consistency is one of the main advantages. If it doesn't have a lot of cracks, then you might be in business. It's got cortex. I gotta skin that off if possible in the beginning, so maybe I can get a good biface out of it. And I gotta hit deep enough to make sure I get all the nasties out. That doesn't look that great. I don't know. Throw it in there anyway. Yeah, it went deep enough to get a lot of that stuff out of there. I'll throw it in the heat treat. You're not able to see where they're going, huh? So it might not do any good showing you these views of where they're going. That last piece went there. The second to last piece went right there. Some of you have a photographic memory, so you'll be able to figure it out. For those of us that don't have photographic memories, we just make do with what we got. Sorry, I can't make it any more better. That one jumped in there, right where it's supposed to go. Because this is tough stuff. I don't think it's going to break up in the corner. It's a lighter colored shirt. It's super tough. It should stand up well to being heated very hot. Oh yes. Well, let's jump right up. Get back in there. Yeah. I gotta thin this down. Hold on. I do want to heat treat this, but I gotta thin it down a little bit. Preliminary attempts to get it thin have not worked. No. I just throw it in like that. It went right there. Why do I point this one out? I have high hopes for this particular stuff. It looks like it'll be nice. Yeah. It looks like it'll heat up well. It's not nice right now. I would not want to nap this raw. Even though it may look nice. No. Definitely not. Ouch, that hit my ankle. These sharp edges can hit your ankles and toes and stuff. That was unfortunate. Even for me, when I don't want big pieces, I was hoping for something better. Where did I hit it that it did that? I don't know. Oh yeah, I think I hit here. Thinking I would get a spall off the bottom, and I just split it in half with a radial crack. Yeah. I'm going to save this for later. If those flakes work out well, I'll spall this down into thinner, nicer flakes instead of just going crazy on it, because it may be nice, but I won't know that till I heat treat this batch. Okay. If it's really nice, I'll be very careful with the rest of it. Yeah. It's going to be disappointing for many of you because I don't want to preserve the length on this one. Yeah, this looks like it'll heat nicely. I remember some of this stuff. This is like Fort Hood stuff. Some of you want to see how do you preserve the length on these things. That piece landed right on top of the obsidian over there. It landed right on top of this. It was like that. It knows. It knows where it's not supposed to go. All right. Get back away. Get away from everything. You guys over here. It knows. It knows where it's not supposed to go. Yeah. Was I this annoying when I was spalling the other thing, the other video? Spalling in the other video that I didn't have success at uploading? Yeah, I was this annoying for sure. I had to become very aggressive and very annoying when I'm doing this, or I just end up with little teeny tiny pieces. If I'm too careful with it, I don't get anything out of it. I wish it was possible. You know what? I'll just do this. I'll heat treat this whole thing in another video, in the next one coming up. Yeah, how's that? And show you that it can be done. You can heat big pieces, and we'll see how it works out. It may turn out beautiful. I'll leave it in there extra long. How's that? On that big chunk. That way I don't have to be hitting it with a 3-pound sledge and risking breaking it. For those who want to see how to preserve length. All right. Golly, this is the toughest stuff so far. Am I ruining my chopping block? No. Sometimes I'll end up splitting the chopping block. How do I know? I don't know. Yeah, that's what you call a solid concreter. If you get concrete in your chert, it's like this. This is a stone that's all concrete. So you can imagine what it's like to try to knap it. Like this in a raw state. And keep track of where those pieces are going. Alright, we're going to look at them later. Where'd it go? One right there on the top. It went right there. Let's see, can I capture everything? Let's see. Should have done that earlier, huh? Yeah, just raise the tripod a little bit. Dum-dum. Yeah, I'm dum-dum. I'm a dum-dum, for sure. I'm just going to throw these big chunkers in there. See what happens. Ouch. That's terrible. Horrible. Alright. That's enough of that. We'll have fun with these. We'll have fun with these pieces. Now I gotta make sure I don't interfere with the thermometer thingy that goes in there. Got one more. Is that it? Oh, I got one more of this Medina County stuff. This I can probably already throw in there. Just like that. If I was a big dummy. I need to thin it down. I need to thin it down just a little bit more. Golly, look at that dip. I don't like the dips. I don't like them when they dip in like that. Some things are easier to remove when you got it in the raw state. Yeah, some of you might be saying, this seems to nap really nice in the raw state. Yeah, well, you're not napping it. I am. I'm the one napping it. You don't know if it naps nice. It does respond to being hit extremely hard. It does run long flakes. But you don't know how difficult it is for me to be doing this. Or how much practice it takes to not snap it in half. At this stage, it just looks easy. It's got some good patterns in it. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is going to be nice. I can already see there is some potential. Oh yes. Now if I spot something that I know is not going to heat well at 450, I won't stick it in there. I won't heat treat it. I'll look at it, I'll spall it, and I'll go, no, 450 is going to be too hot for that. But so far, so good. There's nothing that is looking to be really sensitive. All this is heavy duty chert. It's tough stuff, all of it. Even the stuff that seems to nap well in the raw state, it is still pretty tough. Yeah, it's. I mean, it'll hold up to the heat. What doesn't hold up? Many of the root beer looking ones. Many of the root beer cherts do not hold up to the heat. They don't like it. It makes them very easy to nap if you are low enough with the heat. Some of it becomes extremely easy to nap, but you gotta watch it that you don't overdo it. I'm gonna take some of this cortex off. Sometimes if you don't remove the cortex, it does interfere with how it heats. Cortex expands and contracts at a different rate than the interior stone. So the cracks that are in the surface, they get worse. They start penetrating further in or whatever. You want a consistent stone if you can while heat treating, so they will all expand and contract at the same rate. It doesn't matter too much with the thin flakes, but with these big bifaces, it does matter. Yeah, but these flakes, it doesn't matter too much if they've got inconsistencies, but with the biface it does. Alright, so I think that's thin enough to heat treat. Remember where it went? I think I can still stick my thermometer in there. I don't have any more stones to torture. I picked just enough. Imagine that. It's like I knew how to do this. Or I've done this before. I knew how many rocks to include. Or how many poundages. Right? Right. Now that's because I left a bunch of this stuff for next time. Like this one. Leaving it for next time. Because I'm going to heat treat big old chunks. I'm saving some of these big old chunks for heat treating next time. We're going to have a chunky heat treat next time and see how it works out. Should I heat treat this chunk too? Oh, yeah, it'll be able to fit. It'll be able to? Yeah, so what the heck, I'll just save this for the next one too. Yeah, save these big old chunkers. See if they'll all fit in the next heat treat. Heck, I might even, yeah, I'll throw that in too. What else we got? What else did I not like? Oh, I didn't like that much, but I'm going to toss that in. It's going to be thrown out anyway. Might as well. No, not that one. I can't spall anything off of that one. It's too crackiola. This one I can spall stuff off of. I can heat this chunk and I can take little blades and stuff off of that one. So I'm going to save that one for putting in the heat treat. Yeah, I'll save this one too. What else? Oh, I think that's it. Everything is a bunch of nasties down here. Yeah, that's too thick. But, you know, it's good for the... Yeah, I will save this one to put in with the clunkers. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say that. No, alright. There you go. That's it. Memorize the positions of all the stones. I'm not going to move them around at all. I'm going to put on this one here. I'm going to write for 50 degrees Fahrenheit beforehand, right? Sometimes when you mark it like this beforehand, that just evaporates away. I don't know what happens. We're going to see if it evaporates away this time. Sometimes the ink doesn't stay on when you do this beforehand. Just so you know. All right, there you go. That's it.